Hello, my name is Pierre Larsen. I'm a senior product manager in the Intune product group, and I'm here to show you how we can leverage the security baseline built into Intune to deploy to your devices inside your environment. So let's dig into the demo. Inside the endpoint security blade, we have the security baseline. We have different options. We have security baseline for Windows 365. We have for Windows 10 and later. We have security baseline for Edge, for Defender, for HoloLens. But first of all, let's try and look at the security baseline for Windows 10 and later. So first of all, I create a policy. I click create. I will add the security baseline name. I have all the pre-configured settings that is showing up right now. You can see we have all the templates. We have a lot of settings in here. Everything is documented inside our documentation. If you have some of the settings that you need to change from the default, you can go in and say, yeah, I have my Edge Smart Screen. I have that in a different policy. So I will go disable this in this baseline, or a setting that do not match your requirement that you have inside your organization. When I've configured everything as I need inside my organization, I will click next. I can assign a scope tag that actually matches your organization. That could be per country, it could be per department, or however you like to leverage scope tags inside the organization. Then you have the assignment. Always assign to a smaller group to test it first before you go at scale. In this demo, I will use all devices, but I will add a filter. In this case, I will use a filter to exclude devices that are Windows 365 device. So I don't apply this baseline policy to my Windows 365 devices. When I have this one, I can click next. I get a review and create, so I can see what kind of settings that has actually been configured inside this baseline and validated before I click create. Once I click create and I have the assignment, next time the device syncs against the Intune service, it will apply the policy settings. So in this case, I created a baseline for my Windows devices, but I excluded my Windows 365 devices. So if you have Windows 365 devices inside your environment, you can select the specified Windows 365 security baseline. So I will click create. I copy this one just so I can use it in the naming afterwards. I will get all the settings that is pre-configured in this security baseline. This security baseline is tailored against the Windows 365 experience and the way that you should secure your Windows 365. Again, I can use the smart screen as an example, and I can disable this one if I had the configuration settings in another policy, or you have something that you don't need to be configured on your devices inside your environment. Then I can click next. I have the same scope tag option. I have the assignment. Always assign to a smaller group so you can test it before you deploy it at scale. Again, once you're done, and if you want an easy way to deploy it to every device, then you can select all devices. And in this case, instead of using the exclude filter, I'm using an include filter. And then I will select my Windows 365 devices and click next. So now it's applying to all my Windows 365 devices. And I will click next. I will get the review of what I have just configured, and I will click create. Once it's created and my Windows 365 devices sync against the Intune service, it will apply the policies. We also have some option to apply security baseline for apps. One of them is the Edge baseline. So it's super easy just to go in, create a security baseline for Edge. That is the common browser on our Windows devices. And I have a lot of settings. And again, I can enable, disable, and not configure these settings. In this case, I have some exclusions that this settings is enabled. So my end user cannot install application unless they're whitelisted. In this case, everyone is whitelisted, but you can also say disable. You can enable it, and you can put in a specific extension that can be installed on your devices. And then you can click next, take the scope tags, do the assignment, again, take a small group of devices where you can actually test this policy before you apply it to everyone. Then afterwards, apply it to all devices, select a filter if you need that. Otherwise, click next, get all of the information you have in here and validate that is correct, and then click create. So now I've shown you how you can create security baseline for Windows 365, for Edge. We also have for the Microsoft 365 apps, and for HoloLens and for Defender. You can go in and do this straight out of the box today. All of these baseline will be updated regularly with new versions. So a call to action, go in and look to it. It's pretty easy to deploy and secure your devices inside your environment today based on the best practices that we have in our security baseline. Thank you.